This activity, we're going to walk through and take your data, and instead of graphing it by hand, which you guys learned how to do earlier this year, I'm actually going to have you graph it using Google Sheets. So first things first, go ahead and click on this link, and you can watch this video all the way through one time before you actually start to do all these things if you want to. That's perfectly fine. Or you can start and stop. And you will get your own sheet that says Greenhouse Lab Data Sheet. At this point, you need to make a copy and change the name so that it doesn't say copy of. Please pay attention to things like this. You want it to say something like, for me, it'd be Miss Bell's and Mr. Gosling's Greenhouse Lab Data. And then go ahead and put that here. You can put it in our drop folder. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so now I have my own sheet, and I'm going to go ahead and delete the template. I'm going to go back, and now I have just filled in some numbers here, guys. So your numbers may be wildly different than mine. That's perfectly fine. What I want you to do is cut and paste only from the headings down to the data. So what you're going to do is go copy, and then take that over here and put your cursor into this cell and hit paste. And it's gonna populate it for you. And then while it's highlighted, I want you to go ahead and change it to Arial and get it off of bold. All right, and you can make it bigger if you want to, but I think that's good enough. And then go ahead and widen these so that you can actually see all the words, because there's no reason not to do it that way. All right, and then now you've got all of your data now here in Google Sheets, and we're going to have Google Sheets make the graph for us, which is generally pretty handy. So you should be able to highlight all of your data at once, go over here to Insert Chart, and it's going to populate it for you. Now, it may not open up to a line graph. You might have gotten like something that looks like this, which is really cool and pretty, but I want you to use a line graph. So I want you to go ahead and click on the one that says line, and then instead of clicking Insert, I want to just double check that this makes me happy. Yeah, this is good. See, sometimes you can do things like that with area. That's also kind of interesting, but this is perfectly fine. You've got your three colors. Click on Customization. And now this is where you're going to go ahead and put in things like title. Like the title is not bag 1, greenhouse effect, bag 2, no greenhouse, all of that. I would make this something like results of greenhouse effect lab, something like that. I think the size of that is perfectly fine. Legend, you have a few options here for your legend. I personally like to keep mine on the right. If you wanted to see what it looked like at the top. What I don't like about that is that you then have to scroll to see the whole legend, and I don't want any of that. Some people like to put it in the inside. Again, I want it 100% visible, so I'm going to put it on the right-hand side, and we can also make the graph bigger at the end. Then I'm going to scroll down here, and now I need to do my labels. My horizontal horizontal axis, of course, is my x-axis. So I'm going to go ahead and change that, and I want it to say time in minutes. I'm okay with that. And then I want the minimum on this to be, zero to max can be left blank. That's perfectly fine. All should be okay there. Now, in order to change it to do the y-axis, you need to actually click here and go left vertical, which is another way to say the y-axis. And in that case, you want to type this in as temperature. And then I would put Celsius in parentheses. Very important that you're consistent on that. I want my minimum to be 0. I don't actually want it to be 30 because then my yellow line kind of disappears. And I'm going to go ahead and say I want my maximum to be, it looks like they never exceed 60, so 60 seems fine. And then that's a little bit more helpful. If you don't like that, I'm okay with you messing with it a little bit, but I don't think it should start at 30. I think it has to start at least at 20. Okay, so you've got that. And I think for the most part I'm happy. These two things are labeled. We're good. Then we hit Insert. It's going to plop it into your document. And what you can do is just sort of pull it down. I always do this in Sheets first. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, so now if it's bigger, it's easier to read my legend, all right, and I'm feeling pretty happy with it. I don't think there's anything I need to fix. You can come up here and you can go copy chart, and then you're going to take it back into your doc and you're going to put it right in here. Excuse me, paste should do it. Let's see. No, not the link. That isn't, okay, good. It did work. All right, so now you have it in there, and then I'm going to be able to read it later, and then you can carry on with the lab after that.